The course of the full-scale war over the past 6 months is a success for the Ukrainian Defense Forces, says Max Boot, a columnist for the Washington Post. Russia has suffered heavy losses and has not achieved significant success. The occupiers captured Avdiivka and several parts of Kharkiv region, but were unable to advance further. The Ukrainian armed forces successfully repelled the attacks, killing 8,200 Russian soldiers for a day.
Russia surprisingly has failed to restore operational level maneuver to the battlefield in Ukraine in 2024 despite the severe protracted delay in the provision of American military assistance. Kimberly Kagan, president of the Institute for the Study of War, in a comment to the Washington Post.
Max Boot also warns that the U.S. political establishment is at risk of being misled by Russia, which is highly reliant on Trump, who may limit military aid to Ukraine. This could greatly facilitate the advance of the occupation forces at the front. Because of this, Kyiv may benefit from a truce, but it is clear that both sides will use this pause to intensify preparations for the next war.
The Kremlin regularly feigns willingness to engage in meaningful negotiations as part of an ongoing information operation to persuade the West to make concessions on Ukraine's territorial integrity and sovereignty, and it is unclear whether unidentified Russian sources speaking to Western media are contributing to this effort or actually reflecting Putin's interests and views. From the report of the ISW.
According to the New York Times, Putin can still mobilize 25,000 to 30,000 new soldiers a month to make up for his losses on the battlefield, but this will not last indefinitely. The Economist reports that roughly 2% of all Russian men aged 20 to 50 have now been either killed or seriously wounded in Ukraine since the start of full-scale war, further exacerbating Russia's demographic crisis.
Russia has long been a war economy and continues to arm itself. We should not believe that Putin will stop at Ukraine's borders if he gets this far. We must continue to support Ukraine. We must understand that a Russian victory will cost us more than our current support for Ukraine. Boris Pistorius, Minister of Defense of Germany, during a speech in the Bundestag.
A frozen conflict is not an ideal scenario for either side, especially for Ukrainians, but it is better than a Russian victory. This could become a reality if Trump and his MAGA Republicans stop providing aid to Kyiv, says the Washington Post columnist. The Ukrainians have fought so hard, so long and so successfully that to leave them without support now would be one of the most unforgivable mistakes in the history of our foreign policy. Reported by Diana Kolesnik, Diana Ovchar, UATV News.